wanna make a motion on the minutes?
Yeah, let me just,
Just check them out again and,
yeah, I had just reviewed them just initially before we formally started. I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from March 6th, 2024.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I do like sending them out, and if you have a chance to do it
Yep.
beforehand, that saves time,
Yep.
like today.
Yep. All right, so I just wanted, before we get to the
How you
budget,
doing?
Good, how are you?
the budget's there, you were wondering what the police, expense report, so I printed some of it. So his computer support, his phone bills, annual body camera support, that was like $2,900.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you start over what it is?
This is the police expense
Expenses,
report.
right?
Right, so some of the computer support, some,
Body cams,
it's annual body cam support, it's it's $2,925. Some mountain balance tires, oil changes, they all go in there.
Okay,
Their big one is their gas, so this month it's like
everybody's,
1,700 and 1,600. So, yeah, I figured I'd just, go
Okay.
yeah,
over it. And then they had tolls, advertising for a new police thing. Radio calibration and tuning, that was like 500, so. Basically, that's it, and any, inspection stickers, because he doesn't have a vehicle maintenance line like the fire department does.
Okay.
His goes into his regular expense account.
Yep.
Then on the other side, they bought, let's see what this is. Cleaning supplies. Bought a vacuum, windshield washer,
okay.
laser training cartridges, inks, flash drives, batteries for the calendars, and so.
Okay,
I just wanted to give you an update on that.
thank you.
You're welcome. And
Was there any money turned back from last year on the expense, do you know?
don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
I also made a copy of last year's, because we're gonna talk about West Warren Library. I can go look, do you wanna know how much money was turned back last year?
I thought we were gonna discuss that too,
For
for that budget.
the police?
Right.
Okay, let me get them.
How are you? All right, how you doing? Good. Hi, how
Hi,
are
Steve.
you?
Hi, Steve.
Nice to
Hi, Jim, how are you?
Good, how are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Hi,
I'm Steve
Karen
Duff.
Kelly Gregg.
So nice to meet you. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, how are you doing, Steve?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. We just got underway, so.
I just got off my phone call, so it worked out well. Multitasking.
Well, we got an aside moment here. I'll talk to you later about it, but you guys looking for an assistant tax collector?
I believe so. Oh, part-time, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be, yep.
All right.
All right, what do you wanna know about the police?
I thought we were gonna discuss what was turned back, so it could be a true comparison.
Out of his expense account?
Right.
Last year, he turned back, well, would've been 11,000.
Okay.
Out of that
Yeah, well,
expense.
it looks like 2,000 got transferred into the maintenance utility line, so.
Yeah, I think it was for heating bills, right?
Right here, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
So there was a total overage of what, 13,000?
No, it would've
Is
been
11 minus
11,000.
2?
No, it would have been 11,674 if you didn't transfer the money.
Oh, okay, before the transfer, okay.
Okay.
So, hold on, because I want to get to where he is in the pile.
So theoretically, it was turned back to about
Right,
9,000.
9,600.
Yeah.
Rather than change it.
But he just decreased it to, he only decreased it to.
So he
2,000.
decreased it to?
Oh, he added, it says 75. I don't know where he got that number from. Hold on. Fiscal year '24, he's got 75. It actually was 78, so technically it would go down 2,000. Okay, so let's look at the West Warren Library. That should only take a minute. Fine. I made a copy of what I found in the file cabinet. There's the West Warren Highway.
Got the Warren, I got the West Warren.
Yeah, I know, I got it through somewhere.
Let me just ask you on this.
This is what you had, they had last year? Was this what they're asking for now?
I'll look in a second.
Okay.
This is what they had last year, it's 102.
And now they're looking for 109.
Correct,
Okay, so they went up 7,000.
correct.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay.
This is the request that I got from them.
Yeah, it's for a 102,
Amount requesting,
right,
Amount
last year.
received and, amount requesting 109,732,
Yeah,
right?
It was 102 last year.
Right, it was 102 last year.
Got it.
So it was an increase of, what was the amount?
$7,037.
Yes. Right on the money.
But we just wanted to compare,
Yeah,
The
do
lines.
Comparisons.
so it looks like most of its salary, 16,000 is for payroll. But I think they added it all together, so.
They got 3 staff at that payroll figure.
Right, so payroll was 45, now they're saying it's 63.
Yeah, so it's 3 staff, 20 hours for a director, 15 hours for an assistant, 10 hours for a clerk.
So 35, 22, 14, 7.
Give me that breakout again.
So it's 3 staff, 20 hours for a director, 15 hours for an assistant director, and 10 hours for a clerk.
Okay.
So they went up on utilities, $400. And postage, stayed the same, it's this computer. I don't see that. supplies, they went down $900. Programming went way down, I don't know why.
Yeah, when we get a chance, I need a copy of that.
What,
That sheet you have there.
this one?
Yeah, is that the one with the 102 on it? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that.
That's the new one.
You want me to make you a copy,
No,
Karen?
I can go make it. This is what you just gave me.
That's last year.
This is
Yeah.
old, this is last
That's
year.
Yeah, I know it's last year's, but I don't seem to have a copy of this year's. I have
Yep.
this, maybe
I've got a copy.
That,
That's Warren, right?
that's Warren. Yep, wait, yep, bear with me one second. I must have it.
that's right. That's why I brought my trusty finger.
Got it, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so under the, programming, they went from 2,390 down to 500, I don't know why. Then also on the supplies, they went down to 1,800 from 27. That doesn't make too much sense. Here's the programming down below, this was down below for 2,390, but, I don't know. That's the income.
What were those hours they were saying for their staff again?
10 for the clerk, 20 for the director, and 15 for the assistant.
It's right there on, under expenses. It's right on the expenses from last year.
But last year's were different. Last year's were,
It was broken down. This year, it's all in one. The total for the payroll was 46,580.
right,
So now they're saying 63,467.
Yeah, but the hours listed on the last year's is not the same as the hours for this year. We have 6 hours for the clerk.
There's nothing here for the, listed for hours on the new one.
No, I know.
Right, that's
I'm
what I'm
just doing
saying. So we
comparison to
need
last year.
No, and we need to find out why that this is going up $16,000,
right.
okay? Increase for salaries. Right?
Yeah, that, it's almost a $17,000 increase.
Right, that's what I mean.
But if their,
I-
if their hours aren't,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't account for that.
I'm
I
just,
think last year they only had 2 staff.
they had 3. This is them right there.
Yeah,
20-hour week director,
This is last
15
year's.
Yeah.
Mhm.
plus the assistant, 6 for the clerk.
Mhm. But I don't think they had the clerk last year. I think it wasn't the clerk cut last year?
We cut 5304, which was the clerk, so they had 2 last
So
year.
they had 2 last
But
year.
doesn't
so I
make
was
any
correct,
But
difference.
was-
Then you're talking that it's a $21,000 increase.
yeah. Right, so maybe they're paying the people more.
Well, I don't know, that's a question we need to find out.
Yeah, we just need to make an inquiry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I need a drink first. Mr. Duff is up, how's that?
Hi, Madeline, how are you?
Oh, I'm ready,
Are
I'm
you
really.
good there,
pretty
Steve, or do
good.
you want to?
Whatever you guys want.
Why don't I move over there?
Oh, I can sit there.
Here, let me pull this over.
All right, back up here.
Anyway, I didn't get my break.
I did hear that things are going very well since you took over this position.
No, we've been working really hard. Just to update the finance committee, we've had several budget meetings starting back in December. Our goal this year was to get the budget in the hands of the town as quickly as possible. So we had a initial budget presentation on February 18th to the full school committee. We forwarded the budget to both towns at that point so that they'd have a month to digest it and look at it and ask any questions that they might have prior to the school committee approving the budget on March 18th. So on the 18th, they will approve a budget, and then we'll have the budget certified and sent to the towns. So we had several meetings, we went through every line item that we could control, and then we have contractual obligations, which are set. There's really no negotiating on salary increases, health insurance, things like that. We were able to keep the line items that we could control under 1%. Regional transportation was very helpful this year, as I know that you guys know. Our overall net operating assessment to the town is up $21,000 from last year's budget. A lot of that is accounted for with the regional transportation, but it also helps that we had a lot of decreases in electricity, our fuel. We had the option to go out to bid on transportation. We did, well, 4 years ago, we went out to bid on transportation, and we got a transportation bid for 3 years plus 2 years to opt in. We chose to opt into the final year, which was, I think, wise of us. We could have went out to bid. The increase from last year's transportation to FY '25 is 2%. So with the combination of more regional transportation reimbursement from the state, in addition to only having a 2% increase on transportation, really helped the net operating assessment at the end. So I don't want to tell you that the above minimum contribution didn't go up, because it did, but our net operating assessment went up 0.05%, 0.05%, yeah, which is probably the lowest that it's gone up in a long time. We've worked very hard on this. I was very upfront with both towns, with the Board of Selectmen and the Advisory Board in West Brookfield. We added 4 positions to this budget. We added 4 kindergarten paraprofessionals, 1 for each classroom. Early literacy is a huge push right now for those that are in education. Governor Healy just came out with $30 million grants for early literacy. We were on that 2 years ago. So we implemented all of the early literacy things through grants. We did roughly $1.6 million in energy efficiencies this year. We're doing lighting at Warren. We partnered with the town for the HVAC system at Warren. So we're gonna see a huge decrease in oil, hopefully next year. We're running probably at about 65 to 70% of what we would typically use. I kept the numbers the same this year because I don't wanna get in a position where the numbers aren't accurate. What typically happens is if we have extra money, we call it E&D. If we have E&D, we usually put E&D back towards the budget to offset the local assessment. So I'd rather have more money at the end than have to ask the town for more money come in a special meeting towards the end of the year. So between the energy efficiencies of about $1.5, $1.6 million, our grant writer also brought in $1.9 million for professional development, for curriculum materials. So we bought all of our ELA materials for the next 6 years.
Okay.
We did all of our science materials for the next 6 years. So that's how we're able to offset the cost of the budget and drive our budget line items down. We did a decrease in all of our department line items across the board because we were able to offset that with grants. So we're looking for very proactive ways to continue to offset the cost to the towns. I'm a resident of the town, so I know I pay my taxes, but we were very mindful of where we were last year and what we came in with this year. And I know that we hear it every year, there's not a lot of fluff in the budget. The thing that hurt us is we got minimum aid from the state. So from the state, we got an additional $30,120 more than we got last year. Our salary increases alone are $375,000. Our health insurance increase is roughly $175,000. So if you take the $30,000 you get from the state, you don't go too far on that. So with all of, Ray had come to all the meetings. We've been through every single line item in the budget. We're still looking for different ways to continuously offset the budget. We've developed some programming that has been very helpful for the towns, and we've done that through earmarks from the state. We started the Fire Academy, and now you have 5 members of Quabog that are now on the Warren Fire Department. We have 4 that are on the West Brookfield Fire Department. We started a CNA program with an earmark. This year, 14 out of 14 kids are now certified CNAs. So we're taking kids that typically may not be going to college, and it's not bad to get stuck. And I always say you don't want to get stuck in Warren unless you want to be in Warren. Over time, we've had kids that have been stuck here because they haven't had an out, and not that it's a bad place to live. I love it here. but it gives them the opportunity, and for some of these kids, it'll be the breadwinner in their family. So we've developed a lot of programming to help students that may not be on the college pathway, to give them some career opportunities.
It's not for everybody.
It isn't, and we started an early childhood education program. Next year, we'll start seeing the fruit of that. That's a Chapter 74 program, and for that program, we get an additional $5,000 per kid that will serve as revenue that we could help offset the cost of the budget with. So we're looking for ways to see how we can help with the local assessments, because we know the towns typically have been very generous to us. And I said that at the last town meeting, I can't thank the town enough. They've always supported education. We ask for what we think we absolutely need. And I think we absolutely need the 4 paraprofessionals for kindergarten, because early literacy starts there. And I think we're probably one of the only districts in the state that don't have that. So those were our only asks going into this budget. So we were as mindful as we could be, and like I said, the regional transportation really helped out. It helped out with the overall net operating assessment to the town. Even though the minimum contribution did go up, the net operating assessment was essentially a flat budget, and we haven't had kind of that level funded budget from one year to the next year. And Madeline, you've been here forever. We haven't been in this position, and I'm hoping that we continue this trend by
Yeah.
doing things.
Yeah. I was just, Bill Sawstein happened to be here last week, and
Yep.
I just happened to see him, so we were talking, and he mentioned the transportation aspect. And, how come you guys are getting so much? Do you feel comfortable with what they're saying for transportation, especially because of the revenue that the state is lacking of?
So I would say that, I've had several conversations with many of our representatives. I would say that transportation, if anything, is going to go up a little bit once it gets to the House. But once again, I think the governor has done a lot of already 9C cuts. I think that you see a lot of grant money that might have been $100,000, that is now $50,000. There's been a lot of cuts that have been done. We were going in at a higher transportation number. We lowered it only because, once again, I'd rather give money back to the town at the end of the fiscal year than say, well, we're short $400,000 on transportation.
Right.
So from all indications that I've had, I think that we're gonna be okay on
This is a good number.
transportation. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. And I'm not, I'm gonna say the good, and then I'm just gonna, mention something. It was good to see a budget come into the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee that was reasonable, and not a 1 million this, and then you come back and settle for 6 or 7. I mean, to me, if you're not ready, it's better to tell the selectmen, we're still working on it, this is about what we're looking for. Don't come in, that I would say is crazy numbers. If you need another month to give us something that's reasonable, I'd rather wait.
Yep.
The only concern that I have, and this overall is, not a big increase, I understand. But at some point, the above minimum is just keeps going and going and going, and, at some point, is there any possibility we're gonna be turning this around?
Yeah. So what I would say is, I'm hopeful that happens. So a big piece of it is all of our energy efficiencies, I think, are gonna be hugely important. The problem with our energy efficiencies is you're not gonna realize the savings for that for about 5 years. And I'll just be very honest about that, because they call it, it's an OBR, which is on bill repayment. So, for example, at Warren Community Elementary School, the lighting upgrade that we're doing right now is gonna go from 140,000 kilowatts per year to 40,000 kilowatts per year, which is
Wow.
100,000 difference.
Wow.
So when you look at that times the kilowatt per hour, rate, in 5 years, we're gonna see a significant decrease in that. We did see a significant decrease in electricity this year, as well as fuel, because we did a 2-year deal and we ended up doing okay on that. So I'm hoping that, and we've been saying that the formula's been broken for how long?
Yeah.
And we know that. hopefully we can start to see some light at the end of the tunnel with that. We did have a huge increase in school choice this year, which does help with the operating budget. You know, I think with the programs that we have and the number of kids that we're sending out, less kids are going out now, which is good for not just the school, but it's good for the community. I think as we continue to do these things, we're gonna see that shift. I can't guarantee that it's gonna change,
No, but I mean, that's, to me, that's the biggest concern, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, and as you know, it started off like we were given 25,000 way back when, and then it's up and up and up and up. And then the other concern there too is that we need to be concerned with, even though it's not really, our issue, is West Brookfield.
Yep.
I mean, they've got themselves in a big financial mess. And if they can't, you know, afford it, you know, then ours would be subject to changing to meet them. I mean, you know, like I said, it's just, you know, and like I told you before, you know, I'm a big fan of education. My kids went all the way through here. You know, they graduated, applied to the colleges they wanted to go, got accepted at all the colleges, so I don't have a problem with the education. But it's just that, you know, we're probably losing some elderly, but as you know, I would assume you know, for CDBG grants, we're 55 to 60% low to moderate income. I mean, there's no getting around that. And that's where I come from. The concern is, you know,
People can't afford it.
that people, it's gonna get to that point. And like I said, overall, it's, you know, with the transportation and that, you know, it doesn't look bad. It's only a $76,000. That's not, that looks good, but if we didn't get the transportation and transportation went up, you know, then it would make a big difference. And then I would probably be a lot more vocal
Yeah.
about
No,
the above minimum.
Really?
You know what- Yeah.
And I understand that. You know, like I said, I've lived in town for 20 years now, and I've been to every town meeting, and I know how these things go. And one of my biggest priorities coming in was to make sure that we were transparent in both towns, to say this is what we need, and to be forward-thinking. And I think, you know, Jim was with us when the inspector came out from the state. The inspector said he hasn't seen a district this progressive and as successful as the Quabog Regional School District in terms of the energy efficiencies. So we're always looking for ways that we can help offset, because at the
That's
end of the
big.
day, it comes down to the bottom line.
Right.
Education is a dollar sign, and I appreciate that. And we're doing everything we can to be forward-thinking to try to offset the
Yeah.
local
Yeah,
assessments.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying, I give you kudos, because like I said, just bringing the budget in where it's reasonable is,
Yeah.
you know, not, you know, I mean, it's, you know, you don't come in with a big wish list, and then, and especially where it was year after year, they were dropping the amount, I mean, you know, this is what we want, but no, we'll take this, you know, and it, I just don't think that it sits well, with the school saying, this is what we need, we have to have it, and then you end up cutting it by 400,000 or 500,000. And this, you know, I mean, it didn't bode well, in my opinion, so. But, I mean, that's what I have to say, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, just on that note, that, again, not to belabor, the past is the past, but just to put an exclamation point on it, it was like, yeah, the crying wolf syndrome was, as a taxpayer, it was like, okay, stop it. And yeah, just so, I think Steve knows this, and I think Jim knows it too. I've spoken at both the school committee meetings and at the selectmen meetings about all this. And yeah, just appreciate the effort this year. And again, we can all bemoan years gone by, and that's left a bad taste in many people's mouths. But this is this year, and so, you know,
Moving forward.
let's go forward.
Yeah.
And
Got a new head.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes,
You know,
yeah.
Steve's new, and he told us that, I remember hearing at
Yeah.
one of the meetings, you're gonna come in with a budget that, a no-nonsense budget, you're gonna,
yeah, there's credibility here where there hasn't been in the
Yes,
past, and
yes,
that's a
that's
good place to
exactly it.
go forward from. Yeah.
Yep.
Very
So
much
good.
so,
yeah.
very much so.
You got anything else to say or ask,
No,
Aaron,
we're
or?
good.
I don't know the numbers as well as Steve does. You know, he didn't even have to crack the sheet here. He knows it all by heart. I have been involved in the past year. I think I've attended every meeting, and so I don't have any questions. And I'll just reiterate, good job, so.
I agree.
How about you, Jim? You got anything you want to say? or-
No, well, I said at the selectmen's, meeting, what a difference a year makes, So, was really nice to see, a nice presentation come out, by Steve and put together, some reasonable numbers, and I think it's a reasonable approach. I will say that, cautiously optimistic for years in the future, by the state and what the state can provide for reimbursement costs, that we're gonna still have to keep a close and keen eye on, but, for right now, I think that, we're moving in the right direction.
I agree.
And just one final comment too, just to underscore what Madeline said. Yeah, and I've talked about this with the school committee is, the above minimum. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. There probably isn't one. It's kind of like addressing the towns. The towns can talk about limiting budgets, and then taxpayers can say, well, what's the town's gonna do to increase revenues? And the bottom line is, there's very little the town can do practically to increase revenues.
Right.
And so the focus is always on expense control. I think the school's in a very similar situation
Mhm.
where without that state support, thank goodness
Yeah, no
that
kidding.
transportation came in like it came in this year, because we'd be having a very different discussion right now.
Mhm.
And so, thank you, state, for that. Now let's fix the formula so that those minimum contributions that are required and the state funding, and not the minimum contributions, but the Chapter 70 number gets fixed. No one here at this table is gonna affect that, other than just maybe staying in touch with,
Right, but they've been
our
doing it for
representatives.
years.
I know.
The schools have been doing it for years. This is broken,
And-
fix it. And
and
somehow
so-
they never get the message down there.
right. And so just to piggyback and reaffirm, Steve already knows this, but we just gotta pray that the transportation funding stays where it should be, that the other fundings go up where they should be, and that way the above minimum can turn the corner and maybe,
That's
at the
big-
very least, level off instead of just having these dramatic increases.
That's the biggest thing with the residents
But-
is the
Yeah,
above minimum.
And you all understand it, the more people we keep in district,
Mhm.
the more it's gonna help offset our local assessment.
Right.
So
Mhm.
as we're
Yeah.
sending less kids out because they're staying for CNA, they're staying for fire, they're staying for early childhood education, staying for the college experience, we're not sending as many kids out to different districts,
Which
which
is
at the
big.
end of the day helps us significantly.
Which, we talk about that, raises a question with me. The AP classes, how many classes are offered, and usually what is the enrollment? So, I mean, I don't know what you have, you must have a science, math, or whatever, I don't know.
We have math, we have science, we have history AP,
Mhm.
and the numbers, we won't run a class under 15.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
But typically what happens is, last year we had an AP class that had 29 kids in it.
Mhm.
Depending upon whether you can put it in 2 sections or 1 section really drives it,
Mhm.
and that moves from year to year.
Okay.
We were supposed to run an AP class this year, but we only had 6 kids sign up, or we couldn't run it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
So we're very open and realistic about that. It's
Okay.
good to give kids the opportunity, but
Yeah.
at the same point, you can't, if you run an AP class with 6 kids in it, you're taking an opportunity away from,
Right.
The other
100
ones.
other kids.
Absolutely.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So our AP classes have been very well enrolled.
Mhm.
That's
and
excellent.
we've made a big push in that direction
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, because
Yep.
I mean, I knew they were there, and
Yep, they
I
are.
wasn't sure, what
Yep.
classes were offered and what the attendance, was and stuff, so.
So AP is great because it allows you the opportunity to earn college credits.
Right.
The other thing that we've done is we've signed articulation agreements with Holyoke Community College and with Quincy. So we have like a business ethics course, which is an important course, particularly for CNA. It's big for early childhood education, they're prerequisites.
Mhm.
The kids get 3 college credits through
Oh,
that,
excellent.
from the articulation
Ah.
agreement, and then you don't have to pass the AP class.
Mhm.
You don't get 3 credits because you took AP, you
Right.
get 3 credits because
Because
you
you
passed
passed
that
it, right.
test.
right.
Articulation agreements allow you to earn credits without having
By
to
just
take a
taking a
test.
class.
Yep,
Okay.
so
What
we-
does CNA stand for?
Certified
Certified
Nurse
Nurse.
Assistant,
Thank you.
yep. And next year through Nearmark, we're looking to start an EMT program.
Okay.
And that will help out. We have a lot of communication with Chief Lavoy and with Chief Lapierre, and EMTs are They're
Scarce.
much needed.
Yes.
So we try to talk with the community as much as possible to see
Mhm.
what we can and can't do, and that's a program that we are looking to start.
Mm.
We'll let you know, that won't cost the town anything.
Yeah.
That is a program that we can do through an earmark, so I'm hoping to get that off the ground next year.
Yeah, well, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Because I know Adam is always looking for help.
He is,
Yeah.
he
You know.
is, yep.
Okay, I'm all
So that's
set.
all I
I'm good.
have.
Yeah, well, I think I'm all set.
We're all good.
Yeah, we're all good.
So we have the budget, I have my final presentation on March 18th,
Mm-hmm.
and the school committee will vote on the budget. I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna recommend this budget with the 4 paraprofessionals for kindergarten. It's long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
I know the town has.
And
been
they're
very
already in
supportive.
there, right?
They're not in there. Oh, they're in this budget.
They're in this
Yes.
budget.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is,
There's already.
the only additions to the budget are those 4 paraprofessionals.
Yeah.
um,
That are in there.
That are in there.
Yes.
There were lots of asks. I said, you need to pick one priority, and the priority coming out this year was exactly the 4 paraprofessionals for kindergarten.
Back that 100%.
No other additions.
We are gonna be having capital planning.
Yep.
So if you have any requests or something that, if you can, we sent out those forms.
Form,
Yeah, you send them out send them back to me this week.
Okay, I'll get it back to you.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a couple things. We used to do a capital improvement plan every year.
yeah,
And, just honestly, nothing really ever happened with them.
yeah.
We haven't looked for any real capital improvement from the towns. We've been fortunate enough to, whether it's grant, we're doing the entire HVAC system over at Quabog this year with a grant through the federal government. So we're looking hopefully to have the same decrease in fuel next year that hopefully we're gonna see in Warren this year. So once again, looking forward, I think that'll help offset the cost.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always good to have so that we're,
Something planned.
something planned and put money aside, because in case, 5 years, 10 years down the road, now we're trying to play catch-up, and it's just so much more money.
I agree,
Yeah.
100%.
And also, if you can mail me the approved budget, it's Finance Committee at Warren.
Yep, it'll get approved by the town, school treasurer, and then
Yeah.
we'll send it to you.
Yeah,
And we'll make sure, probably on the 19th.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
And send me one too.
Yep, we'll send it to everybody. Okay.
Yep.
And then if you have any questions between now and then, certainly,
Yep.
you know where I am, I'm there all the time,
Yep.
so just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, it was a big improvement.
Thank you very much for coming
Well,
tonight.
no, thank you for having
Thanks,
me,
Steve.
it's always
Yeah.
a pleasure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm
It's
glad
the
we
way it's
mentioned
supposed-
it
We
to
sit
you.
down, we have a
Yeah,
conversation, and,
exactly.
it's not always gonna, not always gonna agree, and that's okay.
Yeah, it was nice
But
to meet
Thank
you.
you, it's so nice to meet you.
We'll
Ray,
get you
good
in,
to
Steve.
see you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Steve.
Madeline, it's
Yep.
always good to see you.
Yep.
We'll see you
Yep,
later.
come on
Bye.
up, Don. Was I supposed to ask Adam to come, because I didn't?
I'll say in a second.
So, Rick, he's the last one that we have.
I
today.
checked with Adam, and he said he was never before this committee.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Hi.
Adam from,
Hi,
Tom
Adam.
Mikowski.
yes, she will
Nice to
come
meet
in
you.
when
I'm
our-
Ray
when the
Quabaco.
article is
Good
ready.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
With the extra person.
Right.
Did he give you a copy for the extra person?
Said it was all in his budget.
Yeah. Not the extra person. Oh, yeah, it is here. So I'll tell him to come in next week, so
Okay.
it'll be short and sweet today. If there's anything
Hey,
else you want
Don.
to go over.
Hey, Jim. How are you? Good. How are you? Good to see you.
You know, Ray, do you know Don?
I know now.
Okay, yeah, because
We'd
he's
never
been here
met before,
before,
but-
yeah. All right.
Well,
I'm Don. You're married?
No,
Karen.
Karen.
Good to meet
Yeah,
you,
you were
Karen.
here last year. She was here last year.
Last year?
Yeah, you were here.
I don't remember Don coming.
Yeah.
Yes, he did, with
Yeah.
Board of Health,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we looked at your budget,
Yeah.
and there
You
was
know
only,
Madeline.
he's
Yeah.
known me,
I do.
You don't come in unscathed. It's,
he's known me for many, many
I know.
years.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the lady that I bowl with, him and her husband are best friends, and when she talks to me, she calls him DJ. After a couple times, I said, "Who is DJ?" She said, "Dawn." So now I know.
Yeah. Old nickname from way back. Way
All right, so there was only 2 things here, and you had question marks next to 3. The town waste and recycle. I don't know if you've got a contract for that, so because it looks like you want to change it by $1,000.
Yeah,
So
I
that
called them. Yeah.
And,
We're good at 10.
okay.
10's good.
Yeah.
10's good.
Landfill supplies, that can go back to zero. The only reason that we had the landfill supplies is when they used to have, when the town used to do the landfill stickers.
The landfill stickers.
But we don't do that anymore. So there, you've never spent any money in supplies.
Well, I've come across an item that would come out of there, and
What's that?
the tubes that let the methane escape, and they break whenever.
So what, then how they've been being paid for?
I was gonna get them paid out of the landfill supply.
No, but where were they getting paid for from before, if you
Oh, I don't
replaced
know if
them?
they were broken before. It depends upon the inspections, whenever they do the
Yeah,
inspections.
'cause
The DEP
the
and.
last, since I've been gone, before when I was here, I'm just telling you what I know. The only thing that got paid out of there was stickers, so that never happened. But if you feel 2,000, then we can leave it. I'm
Yeah, that's, you know what, let's put that, can we put that in limbo? Because I'm still trying to figure out if the people that cut the grass are responsible for that. And if maybe possibly the people that do the transfer station
Okay.
are responsible
All right.
for it.
all right. So we'll leave that as a question mark. Now, leachate, okay?
Leachate, yeah.
So I went back and looked,
That should be 3,000.
the minimum I want to say is 3,000. So here's the numbers that I got, okay? So in 20 was 15, they cut it back in 23. So what was spent in 20 was 2,730, then 2,790, 2,125, 1,840, and then 1,160. Cutting it back to 25, no. I think 3,000 or 3,500.
3,000 would be good, because here's, I did get a quote from Berthium. They come 8 weeks on Tuesdays, and they went up from 5 cents per gallon to 10 cents per gallon.
Okay.
Okay, so based it upon last year's number and the year before's number.
It would double though, because it was 5 cents. So if they spent 1,840, then it's 3,600. So now we're looking at 4.
Well, they gave me different numbers from what they did before, so I don't know if your numbers reflect some other expenses.
It's whatever in region.
Well, they said that last year, they spent $1,500.
Yeah, so there's a difference of 340.
Huh?
So that's a difference of 340. Because I got 1,840.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
that's their
yeah.
part, but whoever's, this difference is another difference then.
Yeah.
It's $340 more, so 3,000 wouldn't be sufficient.
what's that?
Then 3,000 wouldn't be sufficient.
Well, I asked them what the town paid last year, and they said 1,500.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah.
But now if it's coming up to
18
3,600,
No, right. 1,840 got paid out of the account.
Mhm.
You said they were 1,500, we paid somebody else 340, so there's some other,
I don't know what else
is
got
coming.
paid, yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying, so we don't wanna cut it back, because so far this year, it's 1,160, so that, so far. That's-
1160, that's low.
But if it's double, that's 2,260, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I said $3,000
And
would be enough.
But I
yeah.
don't know what else is here, I would have to look. I would think make it, I have here 3,500, that's what I
Okay.
have.
3,500.
And that is a variable in that equation,
Mhm.
because it's all the decomposition of the trash, and something can decompose faster than other
Right.
stuff, so it's a variable.
So we could
So-
go 4,000, I mean, I don't have a
I
problem,
would
because,
appreciate that.
well, what do you want? I'm
Four,
asking
I'll
you,
take
that's
the
what
four.
you're here.
I'm
You're
not
here
real
for, because you
familiar
got
with how
12.
fast things decompose, but we can always put it back in the general fund, right, if I don't use it?
It's already in the general fund.
Right.
It stays in the account. So you want to make it 4,000?
Please.
Change it, okay. So then,
When I was looking at this budgets and I called around, I knew that there was some areas of savings here because, basing it upon what was used last year versus where we are this year and the year prior, there's
Well, I
that's
knew that.
$8,000 right there, there's 1,000 up here, that's $9,000 right there.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, I knew that it hadn't been enough, and I had been after Ken to lower it, which he did. Back in, well, 23 got lowered to 12, but I think it used to be higher than that. And I said to him, you know, you need to cut that down and cut it down and cut it down, so. All right, so, then the only thing you need to get back to us on is your landfill supplies.
Okay.
Because other than that, you said that, Jim said the recycle and town waste is okay? You said you checked?
I checked, I mean, I think 10,000 would be a comfortable number.
Okay. So let me see what they spent last year.
What are you looking at now, town waste and recycling?
Yep.
Don, while she's looking that up, what happens under landfill engineering?
That's the engineering people that work with the Department of Environmental Protection
Okay,
to make sure that that landfill is within their specs, and they're very strict.
okay, because I had a note here that that was an estimate. Is that pretty solid, the 21,000 in here? I don't know why I wrote down, my notes from last meeting were that this was an estimate, and I just want to make sure that's a solid number, 21,000 for landfill engineering. That's what it was last year. Went up 2 years ago from 15 to 21. You're putting in for 21 this year, is that?
Correct, because that'll take us through June of 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so you feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
So I can get rid of that. Okay, that's not an estimate, that's a good number. Okay.
I'm not the right account.
And then the last thing, while she's looking that up, so the Board of Health Secretary salary,
Is correct.
pretty significant increase. Is that more hours? Is
Yeah,
that?
32 hours. I did all the calculations.
Increased hours? Okay, all right.
And that is correct.
So 41,527?
That, you feel good with that number there then?
That is a correct
Yes.
number?
No, it's gonna be 41,
527?
no, I just said 41,566.
566, okay.
566.
566, okay. So,
Okay. So,
Because it looks like last year, the recycling, was 8,600, so.
So 10,000 would be enough.
Yep,
okay.
I just wanted to look. Don't start, Jim, you're cruising today.
So for what it's worth, with the numbers we just discussed, and including 2,000 for supplies, that gives us a total of 186,766.
And he can get back to us, because if he needs to increase it, we can increase it, whatever.
So,
So that, I mean, that budget's going down.
so that budget's going down
Mhm,
4,000 plus.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, about 4,400.
Should be going, yeah, $5,000.
So,
You know, the secretary salary, that's for 32 hours. Currently, she's doing 24 hours.
mhm.
I had a discussion with her today, and she said, you know, maybe we could put a little bit of buffer in for some meetings, but she plans on keeping the 24 hours for the entire year.
So why are we going up to 32?
Well, this is new, so that's what I'm saying, we're gonna have to
So,
recalculate.
what she was hired for was 32.
Okay.
That's why it was in the budget, 'cause that's what she
So-
was hired.
She made a request this year to reduce her hours, and the selectmen agreed upon that. So now the office is only open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, from 8:30 to 4. So, the 24 hours seems to be working, and she's comfortable with that. However, you know, to have a little bit of a buffer for when you have meetings.
Okay, so what do you want us to calculate in?
So maybe there's a potential savings there that maybe we could, you know, theoretically, you know, I asked her today, you know, do you feel comfortable with staying at that number for the entire year? And she said, yeah, you know, with maybe a little buffer in case I needed to attend some meetings. So, you know, we could maybe look at that as a possible potential savings there.
So what do you
too.
want to put in?
Well-
So it's definitely 24 if you want to put a buffer in.
So what would be the salary at 24?
First, I gotta figure her hourly rate.
You want me to go look it up?
No, I can divide this 41,565.92
See if I get the same
divided
number.
by 52.25 equals, divided by 32 hours, 2486.
No.
Oh, I got the wage classification, never mind. Board of Health. What step is she?
I'm not sure, but
Three.
is it a 3? Yeah.
I thought she was a 3.
Okay.
What did you come up with an hourly rate?
Oh, I didn't come up with an hourly rate. I just came up with a total number.
Oh, yeah, no. No, I need her hourly rate.
I don't have her hourly. Oh, you, so
I'll get it, I got it in the office.
41,566?
I'll get it.
That's
I
at
got
the,
it
Okay.
right in
that's
the
at the 32,
I had 31 and change.
524.
Hold on. I had, let me just write it down, 31,174.50. Rounded up, 31,175. Because
That's
basically, if she's
24
going 20,
hours?
if she's going 24, if she's at 32 right now, and she's going to 20, back down to 24,
Mm-hmm.
that's 3/4 of
Oh,
her
yeah.
time. So 3/4 of 41,56,
Mhm.
566 is 31,175.
So if she
I
wants a
don't know what-
buffer from 24, do we budget 27?
How often does your committee meet?
Once a month.
Once a month. So if you had 3 hours a month, 36 hours on top of that,
Mhm.
I was right, Jim,
Okay.
so. So what do you want to do for hours?
So, how long do your meetings usually last? You meet once a month
Once a month, correct.
for a
Like
couple
on
hours?
On the 20th, and 3 hours, after about 3 hours, it's
She's
So-
done.
gone, it's done,
So
forget
add
about it.
36. So 3 hours a
Everybody's
month, and she's
tired.
got 24. Well, say 25, we'll add an
Yeah.
hour a week,
yeah,
Okay.
that's 4 hours
Yeah,
a month
Okay,
right?
as a
Mhm.
buffer.
Yep.
Next year is 52, I think, right? Let me just, I gotta check the calendar first, all right? Because I think it's only a 52-week next year. No, 52 in a day.
So Jim, when you talked with her, did she say for the fiscal year or for the full year?
For the,
2486
starting,
times
July.
25 times
July? Oh, okay.
52.25.
Okay.
now, I mean, if something was to catastrophically change, I mean, we could address this in November, right?
Mhm.
So if that's the case, the salary would be 32,474. 25 hours,
So we're bringing that 41,566
That's a,
down.
yep,
32 what?
474.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had to
I'll-
check the
I'll
calendar.
concur on that.
So that's, now, Ray, what's the final number now?
Oh, so the number that, I'm sorry, let me plug that in. Sorry. 32,474 goes in there, and that would make the total number 177,674.
That's great.
So
Excellent.
that's a 13, I'm sorry, wow, that's a
yeah.
17,000, wait a minute, I messed up my numbers here.
32, you're talking 9,000, well, that, on that one, 9,100.
All right,
That's
14,000.
$13,510 less.
Yeah.
Okay, Don needs to give lessons on every department, how to do the budget.
Yeah, so all we're gonna need to wait from you is you need to get back to us on the supplies.
Okay,
Um,
I don't have to keep the lights off during the meetings or anything like that? We're all
No,
set there?
Don, you're all set.
That's not even in your budget, that's in the selectmen's, so.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Don.
Take care.
You got it.
All right.
Nice to
Nice
meet you,
to
Dan.
see
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
Hi, Mary.
Karen.
Karen.
Keep calling you
New
Mary.
nickname,
we
she's new
married?
nickname
Yeah,
now. It's
that's all
Mary.
right.
Mary.
Madeline.
Bye, Don, have a good day.
You as well.
Okay, so, let's see.
With all the stuff with the name Karen on the internet, nobody usually figures my name now. What are we up to?
That, all we got is, I'm just looking at the library again, because I want to get, this straight as.
West Warren Library?
Yeah, as, because the salaries, they need to explain, and then
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
utilities. She put 2,100. And so she lowered it 400, so maybe the light bill went down, maybe that's why.
Well, electric should go down a little bit this year.
I know,
I mean, we don't know, you can't presume on the future
Right.
too much, but rates are down
Mm-hmm.
a, significant amount.
and the supplies, they went down like $900, which is a big amount. And then programming went down.
Yeah, that got like slashed.
$1,800, $1,890.
Yeah.
I'm just not comfortable with cuts of, if you, $3,200 in those. You know what I'm saying, in those, that big of cuts for electricity, but the supplies is $900. So that's like 33%, and then the programming,
Yeah.
from $2,390 to $500 is, I just wanna make sure it's right. And then figure out on the salaries.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, call, West Warren Library in?
Well, I don't know, let me call them on the phone, they can answer it on the phone. I'm not even sure.
I know that when I met with them, they expressed they expressed interest in coming to the FinCom with proper notification to, to discuss their budget.
Who'd you talk with, Sue Tao?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have her email, because I can email her?
Yes.
All right, so you can give me that. And I think,
Can I get the Slims back?
I don't want it. So,
Sue, what's her last name?
Tower, Tower. Any update on the selectmen? Or,
Number 9, number D?
Yep.
yeah, I just want to look at what we have and
Yep.
get,
I have a little bit of information to report
but
back.
first I gotta find them, so. See, I brought my finger just for that.
So currently, the selectmen are looking at the IT line item, technology annual fees and supplies. We are looking at the possibility of other vendors. I know that there was a presentation done 2 weeks ago from a managed IT service firm in which they presented a price to the selectmen that is lower than what the town is currently paying for very similar services, if not exactly the same. And I'm in discussions with another vendor to also make a presentation in front of the selectmen. Most likely, it's going to be towards the end of this month, based on their scheduling. And I believe that the selectmen will be making a determination if they want to change direction and possibly go with a vendor, which could potentially have savings of upwards of $10,000 a year. The insurance liability and workers' comp, which is another number that we are currently.
That's under D for you. Right, the liability is on section D.
We are currently waiting on a breakdown of the numbers. We have a general understanding of the total is going to be between 167,000 and 170,000. And the breakdown should be coming anytime soon between the liability and the workers' comp. Overall, Maya is estimating at about a 6% increase from last year
I hate to
To
say,
this
but
year.
insurance never goes down.
for insurance costs.
So they were at 160 last year, so between $7,000 and $10,000 increase. And the other numbers were fine,
What other numbers?
the expense, all that other stuff.
Expense for, the selectmen expense?
This one, D,
D?
yeah, law, you went up,
Law, I think hasn't been any discussion as to changing the number to from 125.
okay.
We realize that there could be some savings in the maintenance of streetlights. We went out to a competitive bid for streetlights 2 years ago. I went out for bid, and, oh no, it's a year and a half ago. We changed vendors. We're very pleased with the current vendor, Pine Ridge Technologies. And we're realizing savings on the maintenance side of things, so.
You're going out again for another bid, or?
No,
Oh,
we're
okay.
currently in contracts, so, we realized that we could save about $5,000, so we cut it back 5,000.
No, that's what I'm just asking, if all these other, other than the ones that you mentioned, the IT and then the two insurances, everything else,
There is a matter, that may need to be looked at in terms of, one of the tower leases, for Handon Communications.
What's that under?
the first page.
A,
A.
there
It's
may
like the
be,
sixth or seventh from the bottom.
there may be an adjustment there. Other than that,
Can you quantify that at all, or?
Well, everybody else got increases, oh no, except for SBA didn't, but SBA, oh, they got an increase, so there's no increase in Hampton.
right, so, there's a possibility of a $3,000 increase there
In the tower leases?
Yeah, right.
in the Hamden,
Then just the Hampton one, from
but
18,000.
I don't know
Okay.
if that's necessarily going to happen. There still needs to be some discussion about that.
Yeah, because one of them went up almost 4%, the other one went up supposedly 6%, so. And then the increase on the municipals, our software and stuff went up. We knew the first year was cheap, but then the 12,225 is for 5 years, 5 or 6?
Right.
5 years or 6?
This is for
years.
5.
5 years, so there'll be no increase.
That'll be the same number for the next 5, yeah.
The 8,000?
No, the 12,225, the second one from.
Oh,
the-
got it,
Yeah.
okay.
Because the first year was really,
Mhm.
and then that was that's why it looked so much, so big, so.
Because the grant that that we received last year for 24, paid for a majority of the implementation costs.
And the other question too, I know you're gonna be sending out, when are you gonna be getting the, sending out the memo for the articles?
We can discuss that, when the FinCom would like to.
I mean, if anybody knows what they have for articles
Mhm.
now, it would be good, we can start
Mhm.
dealing with it,
Mhm.
because we,
I could send out the letter this week,
Mhm.
and when could we have them back?
yeah, if they know, you know, like we know Adam's gonna want one, the police chief, we already talked to him, Adam, we did. I know Parks has got this article, they have 2 articles for the help, the part-time position for the office.
Mhm.
This one here is, they want to put into the stabilization.
Right,
So that's 4 that I know of. I don't know if anybody else, I mean, has anybody said anything else to you? What else?
not in particular. I'm not anticipating a ton of articles, this particular, financial articles, this particular annual town meeting. I will say that there's probably going to be some cleanup articles in terms of bylaw and, you know, codifying a couple positions.
Well, if it's codifying positions, it really wouldn't involve
Well,
us.
no, it's not gonna involve you,
Involve you.
but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, those are articles that I'm anticipating. You know, maybe an update on a bylaw, maybe some changes of a bylaw.
Yeah, so I would, you know, send it and say, you know, for those that haven't informed you, or, you know, which you know, I don't know how you want to word it, because I'm not, it's easier said than done. You know, I've been in department heads have contacted me about articles they are proposing for the annual town meeting. For those that have not contacted me, if you can,
Yeah.
please contact me and let me know if you anticipate putting one
Yeah,
on.
and when would you like to be the drop date?
Whatever, the sooner the better, I mean,
I know we had it on our budget calendar, but we wanted to change that because of the,
right, because, I mean, the thing is, if we get them done, you know, the sooner, because when are we putting this out now? See, I got my budget calendar. What do you got for a date for, we're gonna meet with the selectmen,
to meet with the selectmen on the 27th, I thought,
27th,
of April.
1,
Yeah, if
no,
there-
20th.
If there's people
I
that
thought it was the
want
27th.
I have,
Town meeting's the 7th.
I have the 27th,
27th of April, right? We're meeting with the selectmen,
Saturday, the
Saturday.
27th.
But election's the 7th. If we meet then, it only gives him a week and a day to get the reports done. So I think you were going to check with him to see if he could do it in that time.
Yeah, he can.
Okay, as long as he can do that, that's fine. So here we are now, so if we could, because next week we're going to get this, and then we got the fire. So if you send the memo, if we can get it by like that'd say,
You want to give people at least 2 weeks, I
that's
would
what I'm
think,
saying,
yeah.
so if we could have it, you know, if you can have
to give
April.
them 2, no more than 3 weeks. I mean, it's
Right.
time, if people are gonna put
Right.
something on the
So
warrant.
April 1st is,
Yeah.
if he puts it out tomorrow, that's 2 weeks and 3 days.
April 1st is fine, yeah.
And then that way, you
Yeah.
know. Okay, that's all I'm just asking.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then we've got obviously our capital planning and capital budget, you know, some of those requests may, you know, potentially be funded for,
Yeah, and I know you're just meeting on, you haven't even got them in yet, so.
we got them in, well, today was the last day.
Right,
Yeah.
but you,
We meet next Tuesday about it,
Yeah, Wednesday, I thought,
next Wednesday,
Wednesday,
whatever it is.
yeah.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying, so I mean,
forgot.
you know, if and when you decide, you know, then you can just give them to us and then we can,
Yep.
you know, talk on them, but that's what I'm saying, is that it doesn't seem like time goes by and then the next thing you know, here
It
it
goes
is.
by.
It goes by.
Don't
So-
blink.
I think we put it to Wednesday because in anticipation of you guys meeting on
Meeting,
Tuesday here.
Yeah, because we can change our meeting, I don't care which
capital
way.
planning on the 20th, Wednesday,
Yep, 4 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, anybody else got anything else?
Now, who are we
I-
waiting for?
I just have a
I just have to
general,
call fire in West Warren Library. as far as I know.
I don't have anything else with reviewing this year's budgets. Just a general question, though. It would help me if something, is there anything that can be said as far as, we're talking about budgets and expenditures. Where does the town sit as far as revenues? Like, for example, and not that I anticipate this, but just to make my point,
Are we in the red?
if the town revenues are significantly down
Less, yeah,
or
yeah.
only flat,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be a lot more stringent
Mhm, that's a good point.
on expenses.
Excellent point.
And so is there anyone that can speak to that at all in any
You can ask
capacity?
Don. You can ask Don.
Well, no, I would have to check with, and I have checked with Carrie, and I'd like to see, and I mentioned this to Carrie, about, trying to, I asked her to please notify me if there's a significant dip in any type of collections, because then, we have to make an adjustment for that.
Yeah.
So, and she has provided me in the past with collection ratios of where we have been. And we were hovering around the 90 percentile.
Yeah, I checked all that.
So, I am gonna follow up again with her with some, to see if she could put together some, some hard figures as to where we are for collection wise.
Okay.
I do also know that, the deputy collection services have been, we were just talking about this today, they've been a lot, active in collecting.
Mhm.
So anticipated revenues are in a good place.
For as of right now,
Okay.
yeah.
As of today.
Okay, just let me gather this together, and then we're gonna go over the corrections that I made on wages.
Town accountant can be adjusted.
I know that. I got
We
them
have
in
a
the
new,
file.
we have a new town
Oh,
accountant.
oh, good.
Yeah,
Did she come in under 66?
she
Yes.
did.
Excellent.
We negotiated under 66, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this one I need to talk to Jeremy.
And she's got a lot of experience,
Excellent.
3 years' experience.
Is she in the state?
She works for Charlton. Town of Charlton. Charlton.
What are you, a New Yorker?
Yeah.
Mispronouncing everything? I asked Carrie the other day, I said, I got my auto tax bill. I had a question on it. She's going, you got your what? I said, my auto tax bill. She goes, what are you talking about? What kind of tax bill? My car tax bill. Oh, I didn't catch what you were saying. I was like, auto? How New Yorker can it be? I don't know how bad it was. It was pretty funny though.
This one I gotta call her too.
When we were looking for a house, the realtor, I said something about Worcester.
Yeah.
He said, don't ever say that again. I said, okay.
Yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to get that when I moved out here,
Where are you from?
upstate New York,
Where?
near Binghamton.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
Nichols.
okay. Well, you know, it's a big state.
It is a big state. Most people, when you say. from
Nichols, near Nichols College?
Nichols
No.
College is over in Dudley.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dudley.
yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter went to Buffalo.
Okay,
My son has a house in Saugerties, which is lower.
so New York City's here, Buffalo's over here.
Mhm.
Well, the way you're looking, the way you're
Yeah,
looking at it, if New York's here and Buffalo's here, right in the middle of the state,
Okay,
right on the Pennsylvania border,
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
is, so,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Animal control, Jim, did you ever hear back from her?
I have not reached out, I've not reached out yet.
All right. I'm gonna get her cell phone number. You can give it to me,
Okay.
and I will call her. All right, sewer is, we're gonna get another sewer one, so I just wanted to
Sewer
tell you
is
that
gonna be updated.
it's going to be updated.
And that's another thing, we have to look at the sewer to see if the sewer is self-sufficient as well, you know. They usually use some retained earnings to balance their budget, so we have to look at that as well.
All right, so building inspector, I calculated the salary, everything was fine there, so, I guess BJ put in for 2%, do you plan on leaving that in,
I thought it was the 3%. Was it 2 or 3?
2? That's
Okay.
what the budget is,
Okay, then leave it, yep.
okay? Planning board, I did the calculation for 21 hours. Her rate would be 23,821.30, so that would be 23,822.
All right, so give me that number again.
23,822. It was a small increase.
23,822. Okay.
What's the increase?
She had 23,798.50. She
Okay.
probably didn't calculate
$40.
the extra
Okay,
day.
and then,
$30, yeah.
then you got the building clerk salary too.
Did I say it was okay there?
Okay.
I rounded up the assistant assessor, she had 52,649, should be 62,650, because we don't do pennies.
Wait, assessor should be, say it again?
Assistant, 52,650, because she didn't round it up. The town accountant is gonna be 63,000,
Even?
yep. And the council on aging, I got to check the steps on this, because she has 2 people getting a step, and I just got to calculate the weeks, because I didn't have that, I took this home to do, so. And the same with Jeremy, I didn't have the, I kind of looked, but I need the date of, Scott Petratus, I got a problem with him, and a step for Walter Herrick. So those I gotta look at here. And I think that was all that I saw. Everybody else was, this is the new one, so I need this one here. The calculations were good, so. Because I think I just got everything there.
Is this mine or yours?
That's animal control, that's yours.
I thought that was yours, no?
No, because mine's not like that.
I put mine out there for, oh, yeah.
That is yours. See, Madeline?
What, Jim?
He's not
See,
always
Madeline?
wrong.
I'm not always wrong.
Tuesday after,
You're all right, trust me.
Tuesday after time change is always my worst day. Because this morning I
It
got
still
up
throws you, doesn't it?
And Wednesday's not any better.
no, it does.
First week, it definitely throws you.
No,
She plans out.
Tuesday is always the worst day. I got up fine yesterday, whatever, this morning,
No, yeah. It's an adjustment.
no.
Almost as bad as when you have a baby in the house, because they don't care about the time
Yeah,
change.
yeah, they don't. Can I steal your notes just for a second?
If you
Yeah,
can
I'm
read
good-
them.
I'm bringing them right
If you
back.
can read them.
Madeline, quick question.
Okay, thanks.
I'm I'm looking for, let me get to building, oh, it's right here, I'm looking for it, it's right in front of me. Yeah, so the planning was fine for 21, and this 14 was fine for building, okay, yes.
So the town accountant, I know she's gonna be taking that test. Is it this week or next week? This week, okay. So if she does pass, when would we find out about that?
May or June.
Okay, should we put in an extra 1,000 in case?
No. I don't think so, because you can always,
Now, is that a stipend line, or is that in the salary line?
well, I think they changed it. It was in the salary before.
Uh-huh.
but there's, there would be in the salary.
Okay, so what I would say then is that if you don't wanna put it in now, and she does happen to pass,
Right.
July first, we would owe her that, and we would just have to put that in November.
And what is it?
Uh,
She gets an
certified.
increase if she pays? If
She gets a
certification.
for certification every
Right.
July first.
It's not, there's nothing out there for the town accountant to get a stipend for a certification. They've been trying to pass it through the legislature ever since I've been a town accountant.
Okay.
And it never got passed. So the selectmen said the clerk and the treasurer and the tax collector get an extra 1,000 if they're certified by the association. So, yeah.
So,
Because the thing is, if you add it in the salary line, she doesn't get it, then she has to calculate her salary at 63,000. You can't calculate on the 64 because you're not entitled to the 1,000.
Yeah.
right.
And then at the end of the year, there's 1,000
Right.
left.
So we would either have to adjust it in November or adjust it at a line item transfer in the May. But we would owe her the money per the contract.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying, because I think it's either, they usually have it done because they have their big, they have a program at the Cape in June. So usually it's, you know, they're notified in May if you pass the test, so. So that's how it usually is. So, all right, any new business?
Just that query about revenue, that's all.
Yeah.
Nothing, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is, I mean, she should, I wasn't listening because I was looking through my papers, what you said, so. Right. Yeah, because, I mean, the town hasn't been notified, they're not cutting cherry sheet money or anything like that,
No,
so.
no, no.
That's the concern that I had, was a cherry sheet, so,
Mm.
because they did that one time before, so.
Oh, I know what I want to ask you. What if West Brookfield can't come up with that money on the school board?
Well, technically, we could match, we would have to match their amount, but I would think that we could give them more. I'm not sure, but that's something. Say if they can't match it and ours goes down, I almost want to think before West Brookfield has given more than we have. I'm not sure, so.
I don't know, because they,
I don't know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not really too sure.
I don't know, because from what I hear, and, you know, I hate to listen to rumors, but they're hurting big time.
Well, they got that $1 million override.
Yeah.
And overrides don't usually pass at the ballot.
Mhm.
So. And that's where it's going to be first, and then it has to pass at town meeting. They've tried it before, it's passed at town meeting, but fails at the ballot. So. But as far as I know, ours would go down. That's,
Ours would go down if they
Right.
couldn't come up with it.
right. But the thing is that this is just me talking. If they have enough parents there, it'll pass,
Mhm.
and then West Brookfield has to cut their omnibus budget. They'd have to
Oh,
cut fire,
okay.
police, highway, whatever.
Okay, okay.
That's how it works. If they vote to pass it,
Okay,
If,
and,
if the override passes, there won't be any issues.
right.
If the override doesn't pass,
Mhm.
town meeting could still give them what they're asking for.
Okay, okay.
and then they have to cut the
And they
omnibus.
probably would.
Yes,
Right, that's
yeah,
what I'm
And then
saying.
they'd have to come up with either cuts or take more money out of free cash.
yeah, okay.
So that's, up to
Yeah.
them.
So it's relatively unlikely it'll happen.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Def- If the override passes, it's certainly, it will happen.
It's a done deal,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right, but, yeah, that's how I look at it, because West Brookfield's always wanted to give them more and more and more, so. So other than that, I gotta have Adam, I'll call him.
All right, who's coming in next time?
Adam,
Fire and West Warren Library?
well, I don't know if they're gonna come in, I'll contact her and
Request
see,
them.
if she can, and, if not, if she can give me the information, then I can
Okay.
relay, and,
And when do we want to meet next?
well, can we, if you want-
Both libraries were specific to also being, involved in the process, and They're not opposed to coming in, and they would prefer to come in to talk about their numbers.
Well, if you want, she can tell
Well,
Lauren to come in.
they had a question on Warren, and I
Uh-huh.
got it in writing from
Oh,
Barbara, and
okay.
that
All
took
right,
care of
all right.
that.
Yeah.
I just want to let everybody know that
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
they made it perfectly clear when
Yeah.
they met with me.
They're very open to that,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if they want to come in, they can come in. I mean,
Warren doesn't need to come
you know, but I mean, you know, we got the answer to the question.
Mhm.
So,
Next Tuesday,
3:30, so that'll be,
3/19.
yep.
Anything else? I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.